Major Alan Dutch Schaefer was immortalized in the Predator franchise as the first human to defeat a Yautja at its own game. The soldier used his environment to overcome the alien hunter, however his story remained unfinished. The soldier never returned to the big screen. Dutch's legacy was reduced to being listed as MIA, even though he proved to be one of his generation's best warriors. But what if Dutch is still alive, and that we might see him again in future Predator and Alien films? Also, what would you think if I told you that the Terminator and Predator have a lot in common? Not just that they were both helmed by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Bad idea.
I'm a Gloomy Geek, and in this video we will be talking about Dutch's hopeful return. Alan Schaefer, or Dutch, was born on July 30th, 1947 in New York. He grew up in an environment marked by discipline and hard work, spending his childhood and adolescence alongside his brother John Schaefer. John would eventually join the New York City Police Department. While his brother focused on patrolling the streets of the concrete jungle and being a good public servant, Alan felt his destiny lay beyond Manhattan, closer to the kinds of dangers he would only find in the military. In his youth, Dutch stood out in football for his height and strength, which were superior to those of other children his age. His physical abilities were immediately apparent. His stature and physicality gave him a sense of purpose, and he took the values he learned as a child and enlisted in the army. His body has served him well in winning many games, so perhaps he thought he would use it for something more important. This led Dutch to drop out of school and enter a boot camp in 1967 alongside Jim Hopper, his friend and future brother-in-arms. His strength, intelligence, and adaptability made Dutch a natural-born soldier and leader. He further proved himself during his deployment to Vietnam, where he carried out special operations and saved the lives of many of his comrades. Dutch's code of honor became legendary among his peers. He never committed injustices and always defended the innocent. Dutch attributed this to his religious upbringing, and he always fought and adapted. He always fulfilled his mission, even when the odds were stacked against him.
Bad idea.
Thus, Dutch spent 15 years in covert operations, going from wars between countries to hostage rescues, recons, intelligence operations, and terrorist dismantling, all as part of a Delta Force team. In 1987, Dutch was hired by the CIA to rescue a cabinet minister and his assistant, but it was actually a covert mission to halt the Soviet advance in that region. It was during this mission that Dutch encountered the Predator. Dutch had never met anyone who could surpass him in combat. The Predator was a formidable hunter, but the outcome was inevitable. Dutch, the superior hunter, emerged victorious, combining his strength, intelligence, wits, and survival skills. What happens to Dutch afterward is shrouded in redactions and conflicting information. In some of the comics, it is stated that after his battle with the Predator, Dutch suffered multiple illnesses caused by the radiation from the explosion at the end of the film. In the Predator 2 novelization, Special Agent Peter Keyes visits Dutch in the hospital to interrogate him, but Dutch escapes and is never seen again. However, in Predator Killer of Killers, we finally see in the post-credit scene what happened to Dutch. Here we see Dutch cryogenically frozen in a Yautja ship. He is accompanied by others who have defeated Predators before, Naru and Mike Harrigan. This makes it clear that Dutch is alive, just frozen. As we've mentioned in other videos, the Yautja often captures those who kill their warriors to subject them to tests and experiments to improve the Yautja race. Now then, what does the Alien universe have to do with any of this? In the classic Alien vs. Predator arcade game, Dutch appears as a cyborg with mechanical parts integrated into his body through a secret government enhancement program. This version of Dutch is a soldier rebuild to continue fighting, even after suffering damage that would have killed any other human. His body became dependent on advanced military technology, turning him into a living, breathing weapon with a mechanical arm designed to combat threats that ordinary humans cannot stop. But the situation changes completely once we move to the Alien franchise. In this new timeline, the United States government is not part of the world's power structure. All power, including the military, science, and space exploration, is under the control of the megacorporation Weyland-Yutani. This means that any future version of Dutch, rather a cyborg, a synthetic, a rebuild variant, or a rescued human, would not be the responsibility of the government, but of this corporation.
Hello, Tessa. The company is not pleased.
Weyland-Yutani is the main organization controlling the human military forces, and they would be the ones giving orders to Dutch, or using him for military experimentations. Just as the Yautja kidnapped Dutch to experiment on him, Weyland-Yutani surely has a plan for this hero as well. We could see the robotic version of Dutch from the arcade game controlled by Weyland-Yutani, which would be very reminiscent of the Terminator, another robot that was played by the same actor.
Come with me if you want to live.
Now, how could Dutch return? It would be ideal if the next Predator movie revealed what happened to all the characters we saw frozen at the end of Killer of Killers. That final scene made it clear that Dutch isn't dead, but rather being kept by the Yautja for reasons. The question now is how this collection of human popsicles connect to Dec and Thea, since both characters may be part of a much larger plan. We don't know if any of this could be related to Alien Earth. However, the show's second season could drop clever clues about Dutch, about what Weyland-Yutani has been secretly experimenting with, and how all of this will eventually converge into a single timeline. The most obvious question of all is, what if Thea was deliberately planted on Genna by Weyland-Yutani to find the Yautja homeworld and rescue Dutch and the rest of Earth's space-napped warriors?
I'm synthetic. I was built and deployed by the Weyland-Yutani Corporation for research. We found that...
I'm a Gloomy Geek, and don't forget to like and subscribe.